Who made this monstrosity?
Pick the Percocet, set icy on my neck, hit you with that check. Teachers by the flex.
What's good? What's going? What's new? What's happening? Our reactions here. Welcome back to the channel. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And be sure to hit the post notification bell. That is something I should do. I just finished the last video on Obito. I was gonna click another one, then I saw this one by Daigo Knight still. I really hope I'm pronouncing this. Bruh, I'm sorry if I'm not. Maybe let me know how to properly pronounce it if you see this. But yeah, I thought I was gonna click on this video again. The title of the video is Obito is the weakest Naruto character mentally. He hammered on that in the last video, so I'm guessing this might be an extension. But yeah, let's dive on it.
The last video I posted about Obito Uchiha was very controversial, to say the least, when I stated that Obito is the stupidest, dumbest character in the Naruto universe. A lot of people had some things to say about him, and you have to understand that my criticism is not necessarily towards the character himself, because the character doesn't exist. My criticism is towards the writing of the manga/anime, which didn't do a good job portraying Obito as an intelligent character, and there's nothing I can do about it, really. I am going to tackle another Obito subject here, and hopefully you guys are going to understand my point, but if you don't, that's fine as well. Just make sure you...
Shout out to everybody that knows this game. Naruto Ultimate. You know this is not Ultimate Ninja. God, which game is it? I've played a number of Naruto games. But shout out to all of you that know this game. I think it's definitely Naruto Shippuden. It's the one I have. Is it Ultimate Ninja 4? No, it's not Ultimate Ninja 4. But shout out to you guys that know this game. Let's keep going.
Subscribe to the channel and see videos like this one in the future, and keep on supporting this channel, and feel free to disagree with me in the comments below. The thing is, I really don't like Obito after he drops off his mask. I preferred masked man Obito for so many different reasons, and I think that once Obito loses his mask, he becomes a really boring/bad character, but I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, so now I'm going to
Arguably, that's true, because the masked man was always, especially when we had this allure of no, even when he was still Toby, which was Toby is like the crazy wacky side, right? When that whole transition from Toby to when he became serious, was like, who's this guy? Even in the game, when Toby is fighting like he's not serious / he's goofy, but he's lucky. But when he unleashes his ultimates, there's this thing that the game does where if your health is below 50, like you have, every character has an ultimate mode. He goes from this goofy guy to this serious guy. Even the voice changes, like, who's this guy? When the whole this is Madara game was like, fuck. So he was actually cooler. Then when the mask comes off, bro, even the voice change low-key threw me off, but it was like, okay, this is somebody, because it was covered up by, this is actually Obito who died that year, Kimiko. Also, for some weird reason, they changed the voice of the original person that voiced Obito as a child, because his voice was deeper than, I don't know, the next person they brought. But yeah, it was kind of like when the face mask was revealed, as it progressed, it was kind of like, if you deep it was kind of like the mysterious guy we were scared of, like that whole aura disappeared. And it wasn't just because the mask was off. It wasn't just because the mask was off. But hey, anyhow, let's keep going.
Why? First of all, I am not one of those people who says Obito is a creep because he wanted to be with Rin all along and he started a war because of Rin, because that's not true. It's just something people come up with because they want to trash talk Obito and say he was stupid. But that's not the reason why his motives were stupid. Obito did not start the 4th Great Ninja War because of Rin. He started it because he saw the world as a very bad place with losers, with death, with the...
I'll still stand on Rain is part of the reason he started it. There's that. Okay. Maybe not start the war, but Rain is connected to it at the end of the day. So I still stand on. I stand on what I said in the previous video. Rain is connected to it. Come on.
And he wanted to do away with that, casting Infinite Tsukiyomi, which would mean every single person in the whole entire...
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry I'm pausing a lot. I forgot to say something that I should have said in the previous video. Low key, Infinite Tsukiyomi would have not been bad. It wouldn't have been bad. They did such a good job of portraying how good everybody's dreams was going on, to the point where it was like, it kind of like felt, even if they lose, they kind of still won, because in that dream world it would be like they won. You feel? Of course, yes, everyone turns into Zetsus and but they wouldn't know that. It's not as if you turn into, well, the anime, neither the anime nor the manga states, for the manga, not that I know of, but I don't think either one states anything like you go through some sort of, it just says you turn into Zetsus. It doesn't state, oh, this will happen to, it doesn't state like, oh, you like suffer or something will happen in your mind or whatever. It just says you turn into Zetsu. So that means you're happily living your dreams. You die. When do you die? When you turn into White Zetsu in the real world. So even if Tsukiyomi, Loki might have not been bad. But yeah, let's keep going.
Planet would be a winner and a happy person under the illusion of Infinite Tsukiyomi. Now, many people in the comment section of my previous videos said that Obito actually didn't want to escape into the Infinite Tsukiyomi, that he wanted to rule with whatever 10 tails powers he would have with everyone inside the Genjutsu. But that really doesn't make much sense if you think about it. Why would Obito even do that? Who would even rule for it? Because everyone would be inside those cocoons and under Infinite Tsukiyomi, so they would essentially be paralyzed and under an illusion. Obito would have no one to rule over, so he definitely wanted to escape into the Infinite Tsukiyomi as well. That was one of his goals when achieving that plan. Obito didn't know there was an extraterrestrial threat from the outside, from the Otsutsuki clan, so he was really not into the plan where Kage was gonna come into Earth and take over everything, and Momoshiki as well, so he didn't know any of that. There was no reason for him to meddle after the Infinite Tsukiyomi is cast. He was going to go into the illusion as well. A lot of people say that Obito was just doing that because he was a simp for Rin, and that's the only reason why he was doing.
Bro, the very fact that he said she was a simp, that he was a simp, and at the same time in the game 10-10 won, I just think that that's funny. It's kind of like it kind of feels like those two things cross path perfectly at the same time. Let's keep going.
Entire war and all that because Rin died. And yeah, he does say that, but that's not why he is warring against the Shinobi Alliance. He starts the war because he sees that this world is bad, as I mentioned before. Rin dying was only the catalyst for him to understand, and of course, Mater was the one who sweet-talked him into executing the Infinite Tsukiyomi plan. Mater did a pretty good job making Obito do everything he wanted to.
True, but Rain dying is the catalyst, yes, but I would still argue this is why me I think. Okay, let me just read. Let's keep it watching.
Only time he didn't do what Mother wanted him to do was when he absorbed the Ten Tails. But the problem with that is, Obito was not a very well-motivated person to begin with. And a lot of people will say that he was an analog for Naruto. If Naruto went wrong, Obito would be what Naruto would have become. And yes, that's definitely what Kishimoto was going for, but you just have to remember that Kishimoto had done that 2 times before Obito already. The first time with Gaara in part 1 in the second arc of the series in the Chunin exams. Gaara was supposed to be what Naruto was going to become if he didn't receive love and care from Iruka, from Kakashi, from Team 7 and all that. Gaara was all alone the entire time, and that's what he became. Naruto was going to be that if things didn't go so well for him in the first place. So Gaara was the first Naruto analog in the series. The second one was Nagato. It's really obvious. Nagato was also prophesied to be the one who would change the world. The Sage Frog says that Jiraiya's student would either change the world for good or usher in a catastrophical age of despair.
Speaking of Jiraiya, I was just thinking to myself the other day, right? So, roster wise, Jiraiya has the best number of students because his students, people who is significantly trained in different eras, grow up to be amazing ninjas. Now, Orochimaru has, of course, the three Sanins have Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke. All you Sakura haters, relax. The baby's fire. But Jiraiya has Minato. Jiraiya has Nagato. And he also has Naruto. Also peep this. For those of you that have read the manga of, when Minato was younger, do you know how wild it is that Minato was present at the second Great Ninja War? Because by the third one, he was already a sensei. He was present at the second Great Ninja War as a teenager and he could do flying Raijin. So Jiraiya has a student that was a huge factor, of course. Let's go through the wars. Jiraiya has a student that was a huge factor at the second Great Ninja. Even if not a huge factor, he was still very much prominent at the second Great Ninja War. During that war, still, he found 3 other people, trained them, one of who has the Rinnegan, and of course, we all know how badass he became. So this is from the second Great Ninja War. In the third Great Ninja War, that same student that was with him in the second Great Ninja War. I say with him because if you read the manga, there was a time they were fighting the four and the fourth tailed beast and the fifth tailed beast. And the 2 of them were about to use a Bijou bomb. Minato teleported them away. But yeah, on the third Great Ninja War, by then Minato is known as the Yellow Flash, Jiraiya's student. The fourth Great Ninja War, the person that literally tipped that war in the skill in favor of the allied shinobi forces was Naruto, Jiraiya's student. So I think that is one thing that's just something that crossed my mind recently, and I'm wondering whether it's even, well, maybe I'm sure it's a conversation somewhere. It's just me that doesn't know about it. But I just think that is insane. I just think that is insane. Is it the strongest Sanin? Arguably so. Arguably so. Of course, remove Orochimaru. Actually, you can't remove Orochimaru, but is he the strongest Sanin? Arguably still. But I just think the roster of students he has is crazy. He has a better roster of students. He has the same roster of students as his own sensei, the third Hokage, did. Three very strong, powerful ninja in their own rights is what I'm saying.
And Nagato mirrored that perfectly with Naruto. Nagato being the one who could possibly usher in despair, and Naruto the one who could break the cycle of hatred. It's very obvious that Naruto and Nagato were very close characters. Nagato was the Naruto who didn't go right, the Naruto who chose the path of hatred. And yes, that's exactly what Kishimoto was going for when he made those two characters. They were even students.
And they were both students of Jiraiya, and they are both Uzumakis. Technically, Naruto is a Namikaze, but let's flash it out. Well, yeah, they are both Uzumakis. Yeah.
The same dude, Jiraiya. So when Kishimoto goes about doing Obito with the same routine of Obito being the Naruto who went wrong, it really gets repetitive during the war arc. Yes, we get it. If Naruto didn't get love and all that, he would have become someone like Obito, but we've seen that before with Gaara and then with Nagato, so there was nothing really new about it. The only more interesting thing was the dynamic Obito had with Kakashi, but that was kinda boring, to be honest. It was very repetitive, there were 1,000 flashbacks with Rin, and we get the point. You were very good friends, and Obito was supposed to be a good guy if things hadn't go so bad for him, but really there are characters who have backstories much richer and more interesting than Obito and Naruto. Even Kabuto, who's not my favorite character by any chance, had a more interesting backstory than Obito because...
Yes. For all the backstories they did on a lot of characters, Kabuto was low-key a mystery. So when they did his, and I think they did his at the perfect time, because a lot of people, or a lot of us had forgotten that we don't even know where this guy comes from. We just know he's been with Orochimaru from the jump. And that's not, technically that was not his from the jump, but that's just what we think. When they showed it at the perfect time. And Kabuto is actually understandable. At least if we're talking of people who, if we're talking of him and Obito, who both started the Fourth Great Ninja War, or Obito started Kabuto joined, sure. It is much more understandable because it is much more detailed. It is much more richer. Hell, it's even kind of like a repeat of Gaara at some point, because if you remember, Gaara's uncle, I think it was Yashimaru, he was ordered to kill Gaara. So Gaara had to defend himself against him, which resulted in his death. Gaara even had to live through his uncle's final words to him, where "I hate you for killing my sister," which was a lie because the uncle really loved him. If I remember correctly, Kabuto had to face the person who was like a mother to him. If I remember correctly. So in a sense, it was kind of more similar to Gaara's in a very like minute detail somewhere. But the point is, it was much more richer than Obito's story, and much more detailed, and much more tragic actually. Let's keep going.
backstory had been rehashed 1,000...
Let's not lie to ourselves. Obito could have gone back to the village after Madara's death. He could have. He could have even... He would be a living legend because he was at the Battle of the Kanabi Bridge, right? And that was a very significant battle that I'm not going to get into. But he could have been a living legend. He could have been, because Kakashi, in a sense, it was from the third great ninja order Kakashi became Kakashi of the Copy Ninja. Kakashi the Copy Ninja, sorry. Obito's matter is not something people should be dragging because it is clear. I understand the sentiment behind it, but it is what it is. It is what it is. He doesn't have enough backstory to have done what he did.
Already in the series, and we've kind of seen the Obito's backstory before. Of course, that Naruto being the one who changes Obito back makes a little bit of sense, but I think it would have been more impactful if Kakashi had done it, because Naruto was just a dude Obito met, in the war arc and all that. maybe a little before that, but they only spoke for real during the war. And of course, Naruto is the guy who performs the Naruto talk no jutsu, so that's his speciality and all that, and that's in line with the series themes, but still, I don't think Naruto had a relationship with Obito that even warranted a redemption to the good side. I think Kakashi should have been the one to do that, because Kakashi was Obito's friend, and Kakashi knew Obito better. Now, maybe Naruto was the one who was able to get through Obito because he has that gift of getting to know people and understanding them and sympathizing with them and all that, but nevertheless, I never liked Obito's redemption anyway. I've always got the feeling that the entire Ren subplot was kind of forced upon the audience, and they meant us to care about Ren, but honestly, I never gave a damn about her at all, even in the Kakashi guide.
Bruh, he's doubling down on what he said from the last video. Okay, I will say I can't say I didn't care to know about Ray. I can't. I mean, clearly he didn't care, but I can't say I didn't care to know about Ren. You know, bro, him doubling down is wild. It just is what it is. Unfortunately, the backstory, because here's the thing. Maybe while we're watching the manga, it was more like, okay, everyone was following the storyline. The part that the manga wants you to show emotion, especially when they hit their signature banjo music, you're more likely inclined to feel some form of emotion. But after the whole manga, right, especially now that, or after the whole series, especially now that Naruto ended a very long time ago, of course, over time, people will be thinking, maybe this guy didn't really deserve this. Maybe he didn't really deserve maybe he didn't really deserve the remorse I gave him, that kind of thing. The only person that I know people have not backed on giving him remorse is Itachi, and for valid reason, even though his fans are doing the most. But I cannot blame people for not giving the same sentiment to Obito. I just personally, I'll say this. I just do not like the fact that with everything, because he was someone that lost the love of his life, went through some form of emotional trauma, and he did everything he did, trying to gather the tailed beasts, killing people upon people, assisting in killing his clan, turning the hidden mist to the bloody mist, killing his own sensei, making his wife suffer. Kushina suffered, bro. Making his wife suffer and then still killing her. Making Naruto parentless. Is that a word? Making him not have parents. I think it is sad that he did all of that and he had this change of heart at the very end, and is still considered like a simp or someone who wasn't worth it. I don't like it, but I cannot be angry at people who think that, because it is really the truth. It is really the truth. It's the truth. But hey, that's no backing down. That was mad. Let's keep going.
I just cared about Kakashi, and Obito was like, oh, I guess that's Kakashi's friend, he gave him the Sharingan, I think that's alright. I don't really care too much about it after that. When Obito was quote-unquote Madara, I just think he was a better character, not only because he looked cooler, he sounded cooler as well, with those catchphrases that, well, they were made by Madara and Obito was just repeating them, and of course, he seemed much more intimidating. When he loses the mask, he loses the mystique. And no, I don't think that Toby being someone else would have benefited the series. I just don't really like how Obito was written after his mask dropped. I mean, just compare him to Madara Uchiha. Madara, when he was 8 years old, saw like 10 of his brothers or close relatives getting murdered in the Warring States period by other clans, including the Senju clan. Madara only knew war his entire life. Obito fought in the war for a bit, got crushed by a rock, and then saw Rin die, and that was enough to make him snap. Yeah, I think he isn't really mentally strong.
let me play devil's advocate for a bit. Uh, him not being mentally strong, yes. In Obito's defense, you cannot compare the Warring State period to the time Obito was born. By the time Obito was born, the Warring State period had probably been maybe like 5 decades. Yeah, probably been like 5 decades ago. Um, so Obito was what? Maybe 13 when Kakashi became a Jonin at 12. So maybe technically Obito was like the same age. So let's say Obito was 12 when he died, right? The Warring State period, 7-year-olds were going to war. The first time they introduced Hashirama to us as a boy, the first time he was talking about his story, right? When he sat down like a grandpa was lecturing Sasuke. The first time they showed him as a boy, he was burying his kid brother that died. Hashirama was like, so it was Hashirama, Tobirama, Itama. Itama later died though. It was Hashirama, Tobirama, Itama, and I think Kawarama was the one that was being buried. Kawarama was like 7 or something, right? So the Warring State period was different. Hell, even when Hashirama mentioned he didn't deserve this, that his brother didn't deserve to die like that, Hashirama's father deafed him. It was like, he punched him, go and say, it was like, that's an insult to your brother's grief. Imagine you saying my brother who is a child did not deserve to die in war was a bad thing in his father's eyes then. So you honestly cannot compare the Warring State period to that time. And yes, it kind of might counter what I said as part. Madara had a darker history in terms of I said this in the last video, in terms of storyline, which is why Obito went extra and become the way he became. But I will still play devil's advocate. To be fair, those were two different periods. To be fair, well, yeah, let's keep going.
And when he loses the mask, he loses the cool factor, to be honest, and that's the biggest turnoff for me. He was really cool when he had the mask, but when he dropped the mask, when Naruto broke that mask, I just think he got kind of boring, you know. Okay, we know who he is right now, and he doesn't look very cool now. And sure, Madara fighting alongside him from the get-go whenever he loses the mask really didn't help, because just you can't really compete with Madara in terms of coolness or even character development, so he was definitely overshadowed by Madara, and I think I'm just rambling at this point. I just don't really like Obito. Frankly, it gets really tiring the 7th time you see him getting smashed by that rock. And I'm not just talking about the anime, because of course the anime exaggerated on the amount of filler episodes, but the manga also really dialed that in. That was one of the annoying things in the manga. Yeah, we know Obito's backstory, Kishimoto, we're done with that. Can you move on? Yeah, I know he was trying to make a point, but I just didn't really like it. And what can I do about it?
Alright, that was a great video. Bro, I'm guessing the vein that he really doesn't like Obito. But it is what it is. This was a great video. I said I was going to check it out with you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
The Percocet sets, I see on my neck. Hit you with that check. We just bout to flex. Pick the Percocet sets, I see on my neck.